Don't become Buddha. Don't become Elon Musk. Be yourself. What if the person you're trying to become is the very thing preventing you from discovering who you are? Think about the people we admire. Some people admire Buddha, his inner realization, his clarity, his transformation. Others admire Elon Musk, his ambition, his innovation, his willingness to take enormous risks, and his ability to build companies and pursue seemingly impossible goals. Others admire athletes, entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, leaders, spiritual leaders. Everywhere we look, there are people who appear to have discovered something extraordinary. Naturally, we study them, we read about them, we watch interviews, we study their habits, we copy their routine, we learn the philosophies, and we ask, what did they do that made them successful? Learning from extraordinary people can be valuable, but something subtle can happen. Inspiration can slowly become imitation, and imitation can slowly become identity. You stop asking what is true for me and begin asking, how can I become more like them? So that's where today's question begins. What if you don't need to become a Buddha? What if you don't need to become Elon Musk? What if you need to become more deeply yourself? And I'm going to give you a metaphor today that makes this surprisingly simple. There are almost two seeds. One wants to become the other. And the tragedy isn't that it fails. The tragedy is that it spends its entire life trying to become something it was never designed to be. Stay with me because this metaphor can completely change how you think about uniqueness. We live in a world of comparison. Someone succeeds and we study them. Someone becomes wealthy, we study them. Someone becomes enlightened, we study them. Someone builds $1 billion company, we study them. Someone develops extraordinary discipline, we study them. This is natural. Human beings learn through observation. Knowledge travels from one person to another. Civilization itself depends on this. So learning from others is valuable. The problem isn't learning. The problem begins when learning becomes copying. Imagine someone studying another person's morning routine, 5 a.m. wake up, cold shower, meditation, exercise, journaling, deep work, strict diet. They copy everything. But the deeper question remains, does this routine actually belong to their life? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. External behavior isn't the real issue. The question is whether a person has experienced it enough to discover what is genuinely useful for them. Imagine two seeds lying on the soil. One is an oak seed, the other is mango seed. The mango seed eventually grows, a beautiful mango tree appears. It's strong, it's provides shade, it produces food. The oak seed watches. The oak begins comparing itself to mango. The mango tree is producing fruit. The oak isn't. The mango tree has a different shape. The oak looks different. The mango tree seems successful. So the oak decides, I need to become mango tree. It studies the mango. It copies the branches, tries to imitate the shape, tries to produce mango. Nothing works. Why? Because the oak isn't failing. It is an oak. Its uniqueness isn't its imitation. Its uniqueness is its nature. This is where the metaphor becomes human. You may spend years looking at another person's life and conclude that their way of living is a formula for success. But their life grew from their nature, their experience, their circumstances, their choices, their temperament, their opportunity, their challenge, their understanding. You can learn from their journey, but you cannot transplant their journey into your life and expect the same truth. Now consider two names in today's title, Buddha and Elon Musk. They represent radically different expression of human possibilities. Buddha is associated with profound inner realization. Elon Musk is associated with extraordinary technological and entrepreneurial ambition. One can inspire contemplation about inner freedom. The other can inspire ambition, innovation, execution. There's value in studying both. But imagine making either one your blueprint. Suppose someone decides, I need to become Buddha. They may begin copying external practices, meditation, silence, simplicity. But copying the external appearances of a transformed life doesn't reproduce the inner realization behind it. Imagine someone decides, I need to become Elon Musk. They may copy work schedule, risk taking, business strategies, communication styles, productivity system. But copying the external behavior doesn't reproduce the internal experience that created those decisions. There's this crucial distinction. You can copy behavior without discovering understanding. And awareness is concerned with understanding through direct experience. Imagine receiving the architectural blueprint of a magnificent building. The building is extraordinary. You admire it. So you decide to construct the exact same building, but your land is different. The climate is different. The soil is different. The purpose is different. The people using the building are different. The surrounding is different. Even your needs are different. The blueprint may be brilliant, but it doesn't automatically become the right blueprint for your life. So this is what happens when someone else's success becomes our template. A mentor can provide direction. A teacher can provide knowledge. A successful entrepreneur can provide insights. A spiritual tradition can provide practices. A great leader can provide inspiration. But none of them can give you your experience. They can point. They cannot live your life. And this brings us to a much deeper question. If you stop trying to become someone else, what remains? If you remove the comparison, the imitation, and the borrowed definition of success, what is uniquely yours? So that's where the awareness becomes much more than an idea. There is tremendous value in learning, studying Buddha, studying Elon Musk, studying scientists, studying entrepreneurs, studying artists, leaders, studying your parents, study your teachers, study people who have succeeded, study people who have failed. Every life can teach something, but learning doesn't require becoming. You can take knowledge from someone and still question whether it applies to you. You can admire someone's discipline without copying that schedule. You can admire someone's ambition without adopting their priority. You can admire someone's simplicity without abandoning your responsibility. You can admire someone's wealth without making wealth your definition of success. You can admire someone's spiritual realization without trying to reproduce their life. So this gives us a simple principle. Learn from everyone, become no one. Because the other persons aren't valuable. Because you are not a copy of them. Many people approach self-discovery as another project. They ask, what should I become? What should be my purpose? What should be my personality look like? What should my ideal life look like? And they search for answers in books, courses, mentors, personality tests, frameworks, role model. All of this can provide useful information. But there's something they cannot manufacture, your direct experience. Your uniqueness isn't necessarily something you need to construct. It is something you need to discover. And discovery happens through experiencing. Observe your reactions, notice your thoughts. What is what genuinely matters to you? Question what you have been taught. Examine your definition. Witness your patterns. And gradually, you may begin distinguishing what I genuinely experience from what I have learned to believe about myself. That distinction is fundamental to awareness. Think about a lemon. Someone explains its sourness, you can read about it, you can watch videos, you can hear thousands of people describe it. That gives a knowledge. Then you take a bite, now you experience it. The difference is subtle but enormous. In same way, someone else's life can give you knowledge about what is possible, but their experience cannot be yours. Buddha's realization cannot become your realization through imitation. Elon Musk's ambition cannot become your originality through imitation. Another person's success cannot become your direct experience. Knowledge can point, experience reveals. And witnessing allows you to stay focused enough to your own experience to discover what is actually yours. So perhaps the goal isn't to become extraordinary in someone else's way. Perhaps the goal is to discover what is extraordinary about you on your own way. The world doesn't need another Buddha. The world doesn't need another Elon Musk. The world doesn't need another copy of anyone. The, the world already has them. What remains to be discovered is you. And that discovery doesn't require rejecting others. Learn from them. Be inspired by them. Question them. Take what is useful. Leave what isn't. Then return to your own experience. Because your uniqueness isn't a problem to solve. It is an experience to discover. Today, choose one person you deeply admire, someone successful, someone spiritual, someone wealthy, someone influential, someone whose life inspires you. Then ask yourself, what am I actually learning from this person? And then ask, what am I unconsciously trying to become because of this person? Don't rush to answer. Just witness. If you discover that you have been copying someone else's definition of success, don't judge yourself. Simply become aware of it. Because awareness creates the possibility of originality. If this episode made you think different about comparison, inspiration, or your own uniqueness, share it with someone who may need this reminder. Subscribe for more awareness and witnessing insights. Remember, learn from everyone, be inspired by many, but don't abandon your own originality, trying to become someone else. Don't become Buddha. Don't become Elon Musk. Be yourself. Until then, keep witnessing.